44 million pounds. That's the weight of the arena's roof, suspended in midair for nearly 2 years while everything beneath it was torn down and rebuilt. One crack, one mistake, one wrong calculation, and it all could have come crashing down in an instant. Meanwhile, engineers weren't just trying to rebuild a structure, they were trying to reinvent the future of sports itself. Rainwater turned into NHL quality ice, clean electricity powering every light and every system, and one arena pledging not to burn a single drop of fossil fuel. But did they really change the rules of the game? Or was it just a dangerous gamble wrapped in a green disguise? This is the story of how the greenest arena in the world was built. Climate Pledge Arena didn't start as a vision for the greenest venue on Earth. It started with a problem. A beloved but aging arena that couldn't keep up with modern demands. The original structure, built for the 1962 World's Fair and later known as Key Arena, had hosted everything from NBA games to grunge concerts. But by the early 2000s, it was falling behind. The Sonics left Seattle for Oklahoma City. Concert tours and sports leagues demanded bigger, more modern venues. Key Arena simply wasn't built for the 21st century, and it was costing Seattle its shot at major teams and events. City leaders and developers faced a dilemma. Should they tear down a historic icon and start fresh, or find a way to save it while bringing it into the future? Demolishing the roof, a signature piece of the Seattle skyline, wasn't an option many locals were willing to accept. The community wanted something better, a modern, world-class arena that respected the city's past but looked boldly toward the future. That's where Oakview Group, led by sports and entertainment executive Tim Leiweke, stepped in.
When you take into consideration it's completely, and I want to make sure I say this now that the ink is dry, completely privately financed.
Instead of proposing a new structure, they promised to preserve the historic roof and completely rebuild the arena beneath it. It was an ambitious promise, and it caught the city's attention. In 2017, Oakview Group won the bid to redevelop the site with a plan that was not just about luxury suites and modern amenities, but also about sustainability on a scale no sports venue had ever attempted. Key Arena's redevelopment wasn't just about bringing the NHL back to Seattle with the newly created Kraken, or securing a long-term home for the WNBA's Seattle Storm. It was a statement, a chance to build the first arena designed from day one to achieve net zero carbon operations. Amazon, which would later buy the naming rights, didn't slap its name on the building. Instead, they named it Climate Pledge Arena, aligning with their broader environmental initiative, the Climate Pledge, which challenges companies to reach net zero carbon by 2040, a full decade ahead of the Paris Agreement targets. The architecture firm Populous, known for iconic sports venues like Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and T-Mobile Arena, was brought on to lead the design. They were tasked with a once-in-a-generation challenge. How do you honor a 1960s landmark, meet the demands of a modern sports and entertainment world, and set a new global standard for sustainability, all at the same time? It wouldn't be easy, and the hardest parts were yet to come. Rebuilding Climate Pledge Arena wasn't just a renovation, it was a full-blown engineering marvel. The plan was simple on paper, but almost impossible in practice. Preserve the original 44 million pound roof while demolishing everything below it and digging an entirely new arena into the ground. To make it happen, engineers first had to carefully separate the roof from its old support structure. Then, they built a temporary steel framework, a massive system of stilts to hold the roof suspended high in the air. For nearly 2 years, that giant piece of Seattle's history floated above an active construction site, exposed to tension stresses it was never designed to withstand. Meanwhile, crews dug 15 meters deeper than the original Key Arena floor, creating a brand new bowl beneath the roof. This expansion was critical. It allowed the new arena to grow to nearly double the size of the old one, adding modern seating, concourses, and premium spaces, all without altering the iconic exterior silhouette that locals knew and loved. Preserving history while building the future wasn't the only challenge. Climate Pledge Arena was aiming for a world first, complete zero-carbon operations. That meant no gas lines, no fossil fuel boilers, no diesel generators. Every system had to run on electricity sourced from 100% renewable energy. One of the most impressive examples? The rain-to-rink system. Engineers installed a 15,000-gallon cistern on the roof, about the size of a medium backyard pool, to collect rainwater, which is then filtered and frozen to create the ice for Seattle Kraken home games. This approach not only reduces water consumption, but also gives the team one of the purest ice surfaces in the NHL. Inside, no detail was too small for sustainability. LED lighting systems replaced traditional bulbs. Ultra-efficient HVAC systems regulate temperatures while minimizing power use. Even the kitchen equipment, fryers, ovens, grills, runs on electricity, not gas. But green doesn't mean boring. Climate Pledge Arena packs serious firepower in terms of fan experience.
It's fantastic. There's a lot of people in the building. There's a lot of energy that's being pumped out into there, a lot of crowd noise. Everyone's on the same page.
The lower bowl was completely redesigned for intimacy and sightlines, squeezing 17,151 seats for hockey and over 18,000 for concerts into a compact, high-energy setup. Hanging above the action is one of the most spectacular scoreboards in sports, a dual-display oval structure with the first-ever dual-sided LED screen design. It stretches nearly 60 feet across and weighs over 44,000 pounds, about the size of a Boeing 737 fuselage hanging above center ice. No matter where you're seated, you get a crystal-clear view of stats, replays, and light shows, all powered by highly energy-efficient systems. Around the arena, LED ribbon boards and tunnel screens create an immersive environment, with over 2,200 linear feet of display wrapping around the seating bowl, almost as long as 7 football fields laid end-to-end, all using cutting-edge, low-power technology to stay true to the arena's zero-carbon promise. The sound system is equally cutting-edge. Designed with concert acoustics in mind, it uses a distributed speaker setup that minimizes energy waste while delivering thunderous, crystal-clear audio for both games and live shows. To fine-tune the sound even further, the arena features over 5,000 acoustic lapendary panels and 40-foot retractable acoustic curtains, allowing the acoustics to be adjusted dynamically for different events. This setup ensures rich, even sound throughout the entire venue, no matter where you're sitting. Sustainability touches even the food and merchandise. Nearly all packaging is compostable. Vendors source locally and responsibly, and the arena operates with a strict zero single-use plastics policy. Technology also plays a huge role behind the scenes. Smart systems monitor energy and water use in real time. Fans can order food and drinks through mobile apps. Even parking and transportation planning was optimized to encourage the use of public transit and electric vehicles, cutting down the arena's indirect carbon footprint. Additionally, Climate Pledge Arena is a cashless facility, featuring Amazon One and Just Walk Out technology, allowing guests to pay with their palm or simply take what they want and leave, enhancing the seamless experience. Additionally, Amazon One has been expanded to 3 other concession areas: Modella Cantina, Metropolitan Grill, and First Ave Nachos, where guests can pay with their palm at standalone Amazon One devices. Achieving net zero operations didn't just happen once the doors opened. It's an ongoing commitment. Climate Pledge Arena is required to track and disclose its carbon performance publicly each year. This level of transparency forces continual improvement and keeps the arena accountable to its environmental goals. Construction officially wrapped in late 2021, just in time for the Kraken's inaugural season. By then, the project had recycled or reused about 95% of the demolition materials from the old Key Arena. Even the original signage, statues, and memorabilia were preserved and reintroduced into the new space, blending Seattle's past with its ambitious future. Despite facing pandemic delays, intense engineering challenges, and the high standards of multiple certification agencies, Climate Pledge Arena didn't just meet expectations, it shattered them. It opened not just as a home for sports and concerts, but as a symbol of what the future of stadiums can and should look like. Climate Pledge Arena didn't just raise the bar, it rewrote the rules. But how did fans, athletes, and critics react when the doors finally opened? And is this really the future of sports, or just an ambitious one-off? Climate Pledge Arena was a massive financial gamble, but it wasn't funded with taxpayer dollars. The $1.15 billion rebuild, approximately $1.33 billion in today's money, was entirely privately financed, with Oakview Group leading the charge and holding a 51% majority stake, while Seattle Hockey Partners owned the remaining 49%. To pull it off, Oakview secured a $500 million construction loan, later refinanced through long-term bonds, while Seattle Hockey Partners contributed an additional $325 million to cover their share. When Climate Pledge Arena officially opened its doors, the reaction was overwhelmingly positive. Fans were blown away by the modern, clean design, the sustainability features, and the attention to Seattle's history. Athletes praised the quality of the ice, the lighting, and the acoustics. Critics, usually quick to call out greenwashing in big projects, acknowledged that Climate Pledge Arena wasn't just talk. It became the first sports arena in the world to achieve zero carbon certification from the International Living Future Institute. It also earned LEED Gold certification for its environmental performance, a huge achievement given the size and complexity of the venue. Financially, the arena has been a success story so far. Kraken games quickly sold out during their inaugural seasons, even though the team was brand new. The Seattle Storm benefited too, with higher attendance and a home that reflects the city's commitment to equality and progress. Concerts and live events returned to Seattle in force. The success of Climate Pledge Arena has sparked conversations across the industry about how sports and entertainment venues can move away from fossil fuels and massive carbon footprints, without sacrificing comfort, technology, or spectacle. Climate Pledge Arena proves that sustainability doesn't have to be an afterthought or a marketing gimmick. It can be the heart of the design, the very thing that sets a building apart. In a world where the pressure to build greener and smarter is only growing, Seattle proved it could be done. The real question is, who's bold enough to build what's next? Ready to be amazed by the next groundbreaking construction project? Click on the video now and dive into a world where engineering and imagination collide. See you there.